Okie dokie, guys. Okie dokie, guys. Okie dokie. Hello there. Just waiting for a couple more people to pop in and then we'll get to it. I'm also about to post a Facebook status update, letting people know that it's going on. Right. So while we're waiting for more people to pop in, I think I can actually put a cool hat on myself so I look like a pirate, which is pretty dope. 2015 goals. Oh, cool goals. That's pretty cool. You can also rock some cool eye patches. Perhaps go for a snorkel. Oh, doesn't look very well. What else I got? Oh, nice. Sweet a beard. This is the evil beard. Yes. Yes. Okay, we'll wait a couple more minutes, and then once that's rolling, we'll do it. I got some pretty cool stuff planned. I'm not sure who's out there. There's one person currently. My first time using Google Hangouts like this. Should we put this weight? All right, so we got one person here, so let's get rolling. So whoever that is out there, you are getting a terrific show. Let's get into it. So basically I titled this Making Sure 2015 Doesn't Suck, because it always sucks when your year sucks. When you come to the end of it and you're like, that was just not feeling like I thought it was. So what I'm trying to do is make sure that you guys out there have the tools to make sure that your 2015 doesn't suck. You could also call it creating an engaging life to be proud of, because that's probably a lot more inspiring and going to help you a lot more. But we want to make sure 2015 doesn't suck, so we'll stick with that one. Basically, what I want to do is share a directly implementable strategy for creating a super incredible 2015. I try to really boil it down and make it really simple. So it's a three-step process that goes like this. First step is awareness and education. The second step is planning and habits. The third step is reevaluation and rededicating yourself. So it's really simple. There's really not a whole lot to it. I'm not going to share any crazy hocus pocus magic, although I wish I could. Wish I had some magic dust to sprinkle on all of us so that we just, had a great, happy 2015. But it's going to take actual work and dedication on your part, so it's going to be pretty sweet. Let me silence myself on here real quick. Oh, nice. It's my friend Tom. What up, Tom? We got 3 viewers on here right now. Whoop, it's like a party up in here. Anyways, so to make sure our 2015 doesn't suck, I wanted to start it off with a quote that I felt really encapsulated everything. And the quote goes like this. I'm not sure who it's attributed to. I saw a Chinese proverb somewhere, but I've also seen it in a couple other places. So it goes like this. Be careful of your thoughts, for your thoughts become your words. Be careful of your words, for your words become your actions. Be careful of your actions, for your actions become your habits. Be careful of your habits, for your habits become your character. And be careful of your character, for your character becomes your destiny. Now, I started off with that quote because I think it's really important for us to realize that even though we have thoughts on the daily that might kind of put us in one way or put us in another way, all those thoughts really do build on themselves, and they create something greater, and the thoughts create the words, and the words create the actions, and the actions, and everything is just a very small process that you don't notice in the beginning, but it ends up creating something greater, which is yourself. And so if we can start off with creating powerful, positive, inspiring, motivational, successful, dedicated, dope, awesome thoughts, then we will have an awesome, dope destiny. And I think that's kind of what we all want out of life. We don't want to sit there and look back on our deathbed and realize that we did nothing with our life and that we could have done this better. You just don't want to be filled with regret on your deathbed eventually, You don't want to look back and just feel bummed out. So let's take this time right now to dedicate some energy to it and really create something amazing. So I really want to help you guys build a fire in your life through inspiration and motivation. I want to help educate you and help you educate yourself and dedicate yourself to the journey of becoming better, because it can really often seem, thanks to the internet and just media in general, that success happens overnight. Justin Bieber got picked out of nowhere and suddenly he's like on the cover of all these magazines, or Steve Jobs, built Apple and it happened overnight. And iPod was a huge success, but really I feel like even though the media often portrays it as something that happens so quickly, it's really a fact of life that it takes a lot of continual dedication over time to create something that's really lasting and incredible. And so it's very important, not just to build a fire that's huge, but a fire that will last for a long time, has really hot coals and just goes, And so I want to help you guys plan and create positive habits that will create huge steps towards success in not just one area of your life, but in all areas of your life. Because there's so much that happens when you eat healthy that influences, your finances, even though it may not be very clear, but it's also true that, exercising can keep your mental health really, strengthened. So I want to create a plan and help you guys and give you guys the opportunity to create a plan that will empower all areas of your life. And then, of course, it's important to reevaluate often and keep on track, because you might create some goals here that 6 months down the line have like little to no relevance. So it's very important to stay on track and make sure that your goals, you got to tweak. You have some main goals. You can really create like the chunk of it. You don't want to keep yourself from doing it, but you want to create some goals that are flexible, but are still going to go out there and make it awesome. So I know a lot of you guys came in through my Facebook status, but I'll give you the quick recap of my personal story in life and how that all came about. So my journey towards where I'm at now, 26 years old, it started several years ago. I was working 2 jobs that I just realized that I just hated. They sucked. They were the worst. I was just not happy at them. One was stocking shoes at a store in the mall, and I hated the mall, and I didn't like what I was doing. And the other one was feeding. I was a server slash busboy slash dishwasher at a old folks home. I mean, it's cool. You get to hang out with a lot of old folks, and some of them are really funny and hilarious, and some of them are really angry and just dissatisfied with life. But I looked around and I was like, am I really happy to be getting up at 5:30 to put some shoes on a shelf and then going later to a job where I'm just not into what I'm feeding them and the people that I'm around are just not inspiring? I kind of just realized I had a moment of inspiration and I was like, this is not what I want. And I think that motivation of inspiration was specifically when I was in my car and broke down and just started crying. Like, I don't enjoy what I'm doing right now. And it's just so unhappy with this. From there, I decided that something had to change. It was actually around, I think it was around September sometime when I had that revelation, and I decided the next year of my life, I mean, at the time I was living in a house with some friends, and we spent a lot of time drinking, playing beer pong, and like dancing, and we had a fun life, but like really it was going nowhere. And I was like, is this, you know, if I continue down this path, is this where I want to be for my life? And the answer was no. And so I kind of set out and started just devouring any content and information that I could about, you know, living a better life, about having better thoughts. And just, I tried to create something that was just more powerful for me. And so that ended up becoming, I got into a multi-level marketing, which is a pyramid scheme. And from there, I found out, it was with my friend Gabe, who I work with a lot. But we found out that wasn't exactly for us. And like as things continue to evolve, we built our own company, which is Just Your Guys. I'm sure you guys have heard of it. And now I'm like super pumped. I'm extremely happy with where I'm at. I'm living a life that I feel no longer has like a bubble around me. There's nothing external holding me back from what is possible in life. I remember having that feeling when I lived a typical 9-to-5. If I wanted to go do something, or there was something that I really wanted to accomplish, it was so difficult because I'd have to have my shift covered and I have to ask if it was possible, and it seems so weird. It's like being that feeling of being in high school and having to raise your hand to go to the bathroom, and it's like, we're all adults here. Can I just like leave and go do my thing? Like, it was just strange. It wasn't right. I didn't enjoy it. So right now I'm at a point where I feel like that bubble of constraint it's just no longer there. It's been gone. So I feel like I could really accomplish anything that I set my mind to in life. And to me, that's like a huge, huge deal. And I want that feeling for everyone, because when everyone understands that they're completely able to do whatever they want in life, I think that's a really amazing thing. And so fast forward 4 years from those crappy jobs, and I've got a life that I'm just super stoked on. I've got a career that allows me complete and total freedom. I'm so passionate about it that I just get angry if I can't do it. I got a healthy body that allows me to explore the world in many ways. I go on hikes, just walk into the wilderness and cruise around Point Defiance and see what kind of adventures I can have. I've got a motivational, inspiring network of colleagues that I can call friends. Actually, tomorrow I'm going with them. I'm here back in Vegas right now, and it's supposed to snow for the first time in forever in Las Vegas, so I think we're going to meet up and go shoot some photos at Red Rock and try and get some really amazing imagery. I've got a beautiful girlfriend and family that support me like no matter what, which is just awesome to have. It's great having them in my corner. I've got a growing bank account that I'm practicing healthy investments and financial strategies with, so that's really cool. It's really boring and dry, but it's really awesome to have that, you know, back there, because having that security of strong finances is really awesome. So with that all together, I feel like I've really got a killer combo of health, wealth, and happiness. And I really want that to be something that you have as well. And I think it's totally, totally possible. I'm not saying that 2015 I'm not guaranteeing it's gonna be you getting that 100%, but I think getting on track is one of the most important parts. As Dory says in one of the best movies ever, Finding Nemo, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. So I think, going for health, wealth, and happiness is something that we can all go for. And as I was saying before, this whole group that I've created, the 2015 Goals and Resolutions, came out of just a really simple Facebook status update asking for accountability buddies. And I discovered from, I think there's like 40 or 50 comments, that there must be a lot of people out there that really want some help with this. They really want accountability buddies. They really want a group of people that they can get together with to really move forward in life, because it's just awesome, taking that next step, continuing to take the next step always in your life is something that's really difficult. But I feel like having a group of people that are dedicated with it makes it a lot easier. It allows you to jump into the stream and glide along. Whereas if you're surrounding yourself with people that are saying it's impossible, it can't be done, all these things are negative, it's going to be much more difficult swimming against that current. But I think together we can really create some amazing stuff. And I really want this to be a fun, engaging group of people that, we all really help each other. I don't want it to be a silo of, I'm this guy in the tower that dispenses the information. I feel like we all have a lot to give to the group, and there's a reason that we all are there and excited about, creating 2015. And so I feel like it's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool things that I want to implement in the future. And I want to make it a very engaging group where, someone can post an idea, hey, I really want to achieve this. Does anyone know about any resources where that can happen? And they get comments down below. Or if you're curious about how to do this, or maybe you're traveling or just whatever, I want to be an awesome support group. I'll lead it, and then we can all together achieve awesome things. So beyond that, helping you guys is going to help me stay on track, because I have to be the guy that's like, okay, guys, let's get to work here. And if I'm not doing that, then shit, what are you guys going to be doing, So I think it's going to help me stay on track too. So that's awesome. I think it's 100% absolutely, completely possible for all of us to change our lives into something that we're even more proud of today than we are yesterday. So again, the 3-step process that I was talking about before was awareness and education, planning and habits, reevaluating, and rededicating. So I'll say that one more time. So what the strategies that we're going to be talking about is 1, awareness and education, 2, planning and habits, 3, reevaluating and rededicating. Now, if you have a pen and paper out or your laptop open taking notes, those are definitely the 3 points to hit and write down, because with those in place, I think that anything is pretty much possible. That's all it really takes. But to get started on that route of the 3, we have to start, of course, at the beginning. And the first thing we need to do is get our inner world in order, because as we do that, our outer world will begin to reflect that. So there's a guy that I follow. He has a lot of really cool audiobook and podcasts and whatnot, and it's super esoteric, really metaphysical, because he's channeling a group of aliens. But whether or not you believe the alien stuff is real, I think that this story that he shared was really, really powerful for me in kind of understanding how our inner world affects our outer world. And he talks about it like a mirror. So if you go in the bathroom and you look in the mirror and you have a frown on your face, and you become angry because the mirror is reflecting a frown and you want it to be smiling, would it make sense for you to go up to the mirror and try and grab it and change it? And oh, I want you to smile. It doesn't. It doesn't at all. You would never be able to change the reflection in the mirror until you change yourself. So if you look in the mirror the next day and you're smiling, what are you going to see? You're going to see a smile. And so with that, our inner worlds completely create our outer worlds. The power of our minds has been documented time and time and time and time again. And it's basically just like an act of self-propaganda. And we've got to really convince ourselves that our minds are powerful and realize that they are creating our world. You can go and find a lot of great information on this concept if you really have never dabbled into it. And I think it's really important for, building a life that you have to have a foundation of understanding it's possible and why it's possible and how it works and kind of the dynamics behind it. There's a lot of people out there that write about it. I'm talking about it right now, but I think a couple people that are really highly regarded in that respect are, of course, Tony Robbins, Wayne Dyer, Napoleon Hill, Abraham Hicks. The Secret is an example of a way to discover how powerful our minds are. But really, you could just go to Google and look up positive psychology or search Amazon for some books. Any way you can ingest that information and kind of pull yourself out of the paradigm that you're in right now and embolden yourself and strengthen your own mind is going to be really, really, really helpful for you. So again, Tony Robbins, Abraham Hicks, Wayne Dyer, Napoleon Hill, The Secret. These are a couple resources that I've personally found very valuable, but there's an unlimited amount. It's just crazy. You can find so much good stuff. And so you can go through audiobooks, and while you're driving to work or doing your thing, going exercising, you can be hearing really positive stuff. You can wake up and start reading a book, or before going to bed, read some stuff from these guys. You can watch movies on it. There's a lot of really great TED Talks that are just blow your mind on the power of your mind. And I think it's really important to stay dedicated in that. Because as our minds literally create the reality we experience around us, our perception of reality is our reality. So it's important to stay grounded and connected to your thoughts. You've got to change them if they're negative and support them if they're positive. Imagine your brain is like a club and you are the bouncer, letting in certain thoughts and kicking out certain thoughts. So, I mean, if your thoughts start to get really drunk and really rowdy and they're telling you that you can't do it, you got to tell them, hey, buddy, it's time to go. But if your thoughts roll up and they're dressed really nicely and they're really happy and they're really positive and they're telling you, you know, actually your dreams are possible and you can do it, you got to let those people in. You got to develop a really fertile, vital mind that is just empowering you every day. It's not telling you that you can't do it. It's telling you that you can do it. I think it's so important to take that step and do that. I think now is a perfect time to get serious, and we should really dedicate ourselves to becoming someone better inside and out. So let's do that right now. I already talked about pulling out a pad and paper or opening up a Word document. My favorite is text edit for doing that stuff because it's so simple and straightforward. But now is the time to grab those, and let's get down to business as we talk about step number 2 in the strategy and planning. So that would be planning and habits. We're going to cruise on over there, and that's exactly where the rubber meets the road. So I want you to take out the pen and paper, the notepad, open that up, and underline right in there 2015. And you might have to command you to underline that, or just use your pen and just underline that bad boy. 2015, because this is where it all starts. I don't know if you guys have taken any real strong steps towards defining what a great 2015 would look like to you, but now is the time that we're about to do it. So let's get down to it. So there's basically, I have this huge, check it out. I got this guy. And this is what I made for 2014. I made this for 2014. And basically it's 12 areas of life that we're gonna just check out so that you guys can make one too. It's pretty simple. There's not a lot of rocket science going in here, but I think having that plan in place is gonna make, you know, the days when you're feeling foggy and unsure and not really connected to it a lot easier, because you can always reference that. And so I'll cover each of these individually in a second, but the plan here is that you can write all these topics down, or however you want to have it. And it's not a topic, it's like these points. Excuse me. You can write these points down, and through that, you will be able to organize each individual spot and create basically a roadmap for 2015. And so I'll cover them. I'll go into more detail individually, but they're basically going to be 1, a mission statement covering the whole thing. So write down mission statement. 2, who must I become? Who must I become? 3, you want to write down my big why. And write down why in all caps. Very important, most critical thing you can do. Number 4 is going to be values, personal values, so values. 5 is contribution. What are you contributing, your contribution? 6 is relationships. And you want to talk about me, exclamation mark, me. And you want to write down profession. Following profession, you want to go spiritual. From spiritual, you write down physical. After physical is mental, and the final after mental is finances. So basically, these 12 aspects will guide you toward a greater, better, more awesome version of yourself once they're filled out. And so for each of these categories, and you don't have to do this right now, I'd rather you take the time, set aside an hour, 2 hours, maybe half an hour over the course of a couple days, let the thoughts percolate up. But basically, you want to create 3 main goals for each of these, as well as kind of a mission statement for each one. And with that in place, it's just going to be so awesome. I created this in 2014, and looking back at it, I've seen some huge changes in each one of my aspects of life from that, and it's been really, really incredible to have. You can look at it every day. I really encourage you guys to get a large poster board. They're like for 10 cents at a store. You can get them at any Safeway, Smith's, whatever, and just really make it up. You can, I think, really putting the time into it is like any amount of energy you can put into it is going to be so critical. So yeah, let's go over these 12 aspects right now, and I think it's going to be very helpful for you guys. So the first one is going to be mission statement, and let me read you what my mission statement is. It's got the 3 right here. It says, 1, complete, absolute, 100% total lifestyle freedom. 2, massive positive impact on the world community through positive intention and direct service. And 3, abundant and overflowing happiness and inner peace. So when I'm talking mission statement, I'm talking your mission statement for 2015 and your mission statement for life. What is your mission statement for life? Why are you here? What do you want to do? What's going to make you the most absolutely fulfilled person ever in the history of anything? What is it? It's basically the big overarching theme of your life. You want to pick 3 things to really focus on that will guide you. For me, those 3 things come in the form of freedom, which is the 1, massive positive impact, which is 2, and happiness, which is the 3rd. So what do I have to do to make sure that I am super free, I am impacting everyone I know positively, and I'm just super happy? Because I feel like if I'm hitting all of those things, then I'm just feeling great. So for me, that was that. And the next category of the 12 is the who must I become? And so this is kind of a forward-thinking idea of, you write down your goals for 2015 and you look into the future, and who have you become to create that amazing person? Who are you now that you've achieved all those goals? What kind of habits do you embody? How do you act in life? How do you react? How do you make decisions? Who are you at the end of 2015? How does that come across? It's a very, very powerful process when you really look ahead and try and embody and envision yourself a year from now at the most powerful, awesome, dope version of yourself that you could ever become. So who must I become is a very, very positive thing. And I think taking the time to do that is going to create some big changes. And I mean, this is kind of a tangent right now, but in each of these, just getting the idea in your mind is like planting seeds, and planting these little seeds about who must I become, your mission statement, your values, your relationships, all these things is going to allow the soil to like grow, and all these great things will become of it. A lot of stuff you won't even take note of in the very beginning, but you'll be able to look back at the end of 2015 and be like, boom, that's dope. So number 3, following mission statement and who must I become, is the big why. And I think this is one of the most important things to take into account, because if you don't have a why, you're just not gonna do anything. If you don't have a strong reason behind what you're doing, there's gonna be really no reason for you to feel the energy, the push to go out and do it. I forget the name of the author, but there is a great TED Talk, and it's also a book about why. I'll link it in the group following this, but discovering your why is like the most critical thing you could possibly do if you want to create some amazing stuff. Because at those moments where you just don't want to do it, and you're feeling like, you know, it's 8 p.m., I'm finished with work for the day, I really don't feel like I need to go out there and exercise. It's kind of rainy, it's cold. You really, unless you have a strong why that's guiding you, you're definitely not going to feel any need to go out there and do it. But conversely, if you have a why, a really big why that you've really dug down and discovered a lot about, then you're really going to blow yourself away with the passion and energy that you come across with. And you'll be like, wow, I really didn't think that I would get off the couch, but here I am doing it big. So take time and really develop a strong why. Next one, number 4, is the values. And that's basically what drives you through life. Who we are right now, what's important to us, what do you really value in life? I can read you off mine right now. So my values are: 1, practice love, understanding, kindness, and compassion above all else. 2, be more experimental to foster expansion and implement bigger and bigger ideas in life. 3, focus on bringing up my whole team, constant recognition of methods for elevation of friends and family. I guess I did 4 on this one, so I did open heart living that allows my inner child to play in the beautiful life of creating. So it's really important to understand what you're valuing, because your values often guide you in those difficult times. If you don't have a strong set of what you value, I mean, if you value partying and having fun with your friends, which is what I did, then you'll end up at a space where a lot of your life is just totally neglected. But if you value being coherent and conscious and there, then your Friday nights are probably going to look a lot different than the guy that values party, you know. So really think about what kind of values you want to embody for 2015 as a person, and go to town on those. Make some dope ones. 3 values. 3 very important values. Are they love? Are they happiness? Are they giving back? What could they possibly be? So the 5th category is contribution. And this is all about giving back in a big way. It's really easy to be focused on the me. I got to do this. I have to find out my why. I got to discover my mission statement. But at the end of the day, giving back is one of the best feelings ever. And so discovering contribution and creating an overarching statement of how you're going to contribute in 2015 and some large goals for contributing is going to be really, really, really critical for doing some dope stuff. And you're going to see that the more you give out, the more you're going to receive back. Always, 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 100% of the time, the more that you can give away, the more you're going to get back. And it's important to contribute in a way that is not, how do I describe it? How do I describe it? You don't want to give in a way with expecting something in return. Because if you're constantly expecting something in return when you give, then it's going to be a very difficult time for you. You're going to be like, that guy didn't really enjoy it, or whatever. You'll be Mr. Scrooge, basically. All right, so the next category is going to be relationships. And I'm not just talking about your immediate relationships with your husband and your wife, or your boyfriend, your girlfriend. I'm talking, think larger as well. So definitely include those, but other great relationships to create goals regarding are relationships with your colleagues, your professional friends, people in your career. Think about creating relationships with your friends around you. How can you embolden and create better relationships with your friends? Could you practice spending more time directly with your friends rather than going out to eat with your friends and being on your cell phone? How could you create better relationships in your life for 2015, and what does that look like? The next category is me. Me with a capital bam, exclamation point. Capital exclamation point doesn't make any sense, but I think you understand what I mean. So with the me category, I really want you to be selfish and say big goals regarding you. This is, very similar to mission statement and who must I become, but from a different way, in that it's a little bit more selfish. It's more about just you. It's just like something that you want, like something that would just make you happy. So be selfish, make some big goals regarding you, who you personally are. That could be like your outer style, what you're looking like, maybe where you live, just some large goals regarding you and your life. Next category would be profession, and this is goals for your career, basically. If you're in a career that you don't enjoy, a great goal would be to get into a career that you do enjoy. If you're in a career that you do enjoy, what are some goals that you can implement in that? So for me, since I love taking photos and creating videos, one of my great goals for that could be to visit somewhere new. Like Iceland would be dope. I really want to go to Iceland. I really want to go to Alaska. It could be professional goals regarding finances. So maybe I want to sell X amount of prints online this year, or maybe it could be I want my career to grow by X number of followers in 2015 on Facebook or on Instagram or whatever. Think about some really great goals that will create a larger, better, more awesome career for you in 2015. The next category is spiritual. So those are goals for going deeply into yourself and understanding your connection. And if you think that just going to church and reading the Bible is spiritual, I think there's a lot more to discover. There's a lot of things you can do regarding your spiritual life that will really help you stay connected and grounded to who you are and to something greater in life. I made it a goal to go to some meditation retreats, and I have already scheduled some for 2015, which makes me feel great. I already feel more spiritual, and it motivates me to do more meditation. It could be, if you're just diving into the spiritual, it could be a goal to go out there and learn more about Catholicism or Buddhism or Islam or Pi or whatever, every sort of spirituality out there. Just what are some goals that you personally could take on that would make your spirituality more connected to who you are? And I think those are really important. Almost to the end here, another goal will be physical. So these could be, you want to lose weight, you want to put on weight, you want to look a certain way, you want to complete a certain race. Maybe you want to do a marathon. Maybe you want to do an Ironman. Maybe you want to complete your first 5K. Maybe you want to walk 2 miles every day. These are pretty simple but very important, because physical goals are incredibly important and affect every other area of our life. If you don't go out there and exercise often, use your body, move it around, it starts to waste away. You start to get really bored. All of that's it's just really bad for you. So many, if you don't sweat often, there's a lot of toxicity that builds up in your body. It's just really negative for you. There's a lot of great ways to increase your physical self. Second to last is mental. And these are goals for keeping the mind sharp. For me, that's reading and meditation. I mean, personally, I've got some goals about listening to podcasts that keep my mind in a correct attitude. I've got goals about how many books I want to read. I've got goals about, let's see, what's the big one? Writing things. I wrote a book, which is pretty cool, a little PDF book for social media and stuff like that. So just staying on top of your mental game, making sure your mind is sharp. What are some goals that you can implement that will really keep that in place? And finally, financial goals. So it's not just about, I want to make $1 million in 2015. It's also about how you could better manage your existing funds. There's a great book called The Richest Man in Babylon that my dad originally introduced me to, and it has a lot of great parables that talk about how to better handle your finances. One of them being putting away 10% of everything you earn, which is something that I've made a really strong commitment to this year, and it's been really incredible that what it's done is it's given me a strong feeling of security in my life regarding my finances. Without that, there were times when I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I'll be able to pay the rent or whatever, but since I had the security because I was able to put money away, I was able to pay for that, and it wasn't such a big deal. And it's now helped me create a foundation. But if you already have that foundation, then you can definitely create financial goals about how much you will generate in the future, how you will generate it, what you could do with existing funds, things like that. So those are the 12 aspects that will guide you towards a greater, better, more awesome version of yourself. I really encourage, and that's kind of my main goal, if you guys were to take away anything from this right here, the one thing I would love to have you do is in the next few days, go out there, grab yourself a big old sheet of paper, and put all those 12 on there. Usually what I like to do is I start off with a pen and paper, bam, get some get some drafting done, put up a couple ideas on paper, and you feel when you're writing it down if it really makes sense, and you can look at it, a day or two from now and see that maybe that goal could be tweaked a little bit or massaged into something that's a little bit better for me. But I really feel like having those areas kind of figured out and mapped in your mind is going to keep you on track and going towards a better 2015. So if you guys are just coming in, let's do a little recap so far. Let people kind of cool down from that. The whole point of this webinar is to make sure that you guys have a positive 2015 experience. And through that, I want to, one, awareness and education. So educate yourself on what you could possibly do to make 2015 awesome. Become aware of areas you can improve and how you can do that. Number two is planning and habits, which is what we just covered with the 12 goals, 12 areas of life, and creating positive habits, which we'll just talk about in a second. And then three, talking about reevaluating and rededicating, which is something you do throughout the course of the year. The planning section was the 12 areas with the 12 areas of life that you want to make sure that you're strong in and have everything covered in. That's the mission statement about your big overarching theme of life. You want to pick 3 things to really focus on. You want who must I become? You want to envision who you're going to become at the end of 2015 if you were to complete all of those goals, the type of person that you are, how you react to events and situations, how you decide how you want to do things, all that good stuff. Your big why, which is digging deep and understanding why you're in this, why you're on this webinar right now, why you're watching me blah, blah, blah at the screen. It must be because there are things in your life that you want to achieve. You want to talk about values. You want to talk about what drives you through life, who you are right now, and what's important to us. We're going to talk about contribution, how you can give back, relationships, how you interact with all the people around you. We want to talk about me, which is you specifically, and just be a little selfish there, have a little fun. You want to talk about your profession, your career. You want to talk about spirituality, how you're connected to everything around you, your physicality, how you exercise your body and keep in shape and change who you are on a physical level. You want to talk about mental, keeping your mind and your thoughts sharp. And finally, you want to talk about finances. So with those 12 aspects of life, you will definitely create some amazing stuff. It's going to be really, really awesome. You're probably going to be blown away by what you're able to achieve. So set aside, have those 12 ideas in mind, and set aside, I really, really encourage you, it's very easy to watch me talk about it, but set aside time either directly after this, when it's fresh in your mind, or a little bit later tonight after you maybe have a beer, a glass of wine, smoke a bowl, loosen up, and fill those out. At least get something down on the paper, just something to get yourself going on them. Turn it into a large poster and put it somewhere that you'll look at daily to keep you reminded of it. I have it up in my room. Look at it when I brush my teeth. It's pretty simple, reading it keeps me on track. I really want you to make it a habit once you have it to read it often and internalize it, because internalizing it is going to really, that's where the magic happens, where the rubber meets the road. And creating a habit from these goals will absolutely change your life. So you got to look at, if you have a goal of creating a certain financial future, or if you have a goal of creating a certain spiritual or physical future, what are the habits that are going to need to be made for those goals to be met? You've got to look at your habit, your daily habits. If you've got a goal to go run a marathon and your habits are watching TV and surfing the web, it's going to be very difficult for you to achieve that goal. But if your habits are starting off with a walk down the block and then changing that up to a jog and then eventually jogging a couple miles and then doubling that and jogging, and then over time, as you build those habits, the goals will take care of themselves, because that's all that goals are, is just habit turned into something very simple. So that's probably what we're next, our next webinar will be. And I want to do these maybe like once a week, every couple of weeks. We'll figure out a flow, what works best for people, but just a way to create habits that will really empower you to take on everything and make a dope 2014. And so I'll sign off with the, this will be the last of it, with the third step, which is reevaluating and rededicating. So with reevaluation, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, and rededication, you want to make sure that the goals that you have in place through the course of 2015 are goals that you want to stick to. You don't want to create goals right now that 3 or 4 months, 6 months down the line, you no longer feel inspired by, so you kind of fall off the boat because the 2015 goal kind of wave is no longer there, and you're like, well, it's June and things have happened, and well, you no longer feel, pumped up by it. You no longer feel passionate about it. It's important to stay dedicated to it and reevaluate over the course and make sure that you are on track to do it. And so I want the group that we've created, the 2015 goals list, to be something that you can come into and say, hey guys, I really feel like this goal was something that I really loved in the beginning, but now I'm preferring to do this. How could I possibly reevaluate and create something from that? So we can really help one another to tweak and create something amazing. And don't be afraid to look for direction from me or ask in the group. I'm totally here to help, and I really want to encourage all of us to work together. So shoot a question to me personally on my Facebook page, send me a message, or drop a message in the group if you want a larger contact with it. I think there's a lot of great people in there. I know a lot of them personally that are absolutely willing to help everyone out. Because I think with the help of one another, we can build healthy habits. We can rediscover more deeply why these goals are so meaningful, and we can make a really dope 2015. So I'm going to sign off now. I'm feeling kind of hungry. I'm really excited to get something to eat. I really want you guys to take some time to take those 12 aspects of life and make something of it, and then keep your eyes on the 2015 page, and we'll figure out a time in the next few days when we can come back together. I'll share my goals. You guys can share your goals. It'll be dope. We'll have a lot of fun. And by the end of 2015, we'll all be like, yeah, this is awesome. Let's do it again. It'll be really fun. So please go back into the, I would love to get your guys' feedback on this. There's been a few of you that stuck with me through the whole thing. I would love to get your feedback on if this was a good time for the group meeting, something that you really got a lot from, if there was any way that I can make it more engaging, more compelling, or help bring across my ideas to you guys. So with that being said, peace out, y'all. Hope y'all have a great night, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Talk soon.